So I'm not going to use names here, but you know who I'm talking about, and I think many listeners of this podcast, if they consume other podcasts, that there is a group of people who in 2014 and 2015, they might have had liberal or left-wing backgrounds, but because they got offended by woke attitudes in the university, the lack of regard for scientific achievement, the substitution of ideology over honest inquiry, and they got pushed into this new podcast and Substack space where they campaign against wokery. And it's just amazing how person after person then said, wait, you left this because you were against the elevation of ideology over science, and now you are regarding Dr. Fauci as the arch enemy of the American people, and you don't understand why a scientist dealing with a new virus might have a different set of recommendations in the first 60 days after the virus emerges. Then you would have 2 years plus 60 days that science is a process of learning and you know more. Like this argument, well, why didn't you say at the beginning what you say now? Yeah. Well, why didn't Newton tell us about post-Newtonian physics, right? I mean, liar.
Right. That's pretty much it.
Newton covering up post-Newtonian physics. But there's been this, where does this come from? And the answer is obviously not logical. The answer is obviously psychological.
Right.
And I think that is what is going on with a lot of Trump world. There are psychological drivers of certain behaviors, and those are important. And I think you and I, and those of us who got off the train at one station or another, that we think, well, why did we do it? I think the answer to that is often psychological rather than strictly logical.
No, I think that's true. You make a reference to the way conservatism had evolved from the championing of ideas to a defense of folk ways. So, for example, guns under the Christmas tree, fried food on the table, this was a folk way rather than an idea. And so it does seem, more like posturing and attitudes rather than anything that is coherently linked together. Because there's really no connection between anti-wokeism and anti-vaxism, except perhaps, what? Do they think that they are being independent thinkers, that are not going along with groupthink? I mean, is that the way it might work in their heads together? That if all of these people believe and insist we believe X, therefore I'm going to be skeptical because I've rejected them on this other issue? Is that kind of Well,
I think some people would say that. I don't buy that. Because if they say, well, the reason I'm anti-vax, I was first anti-woke and now I'm anti-vax is because I'm a contrarian. I'm an independent thinker. So, well, if you're such an independent thinker, why are you moving in a herd?
Yeah.
Because actually, we're not talking about one weirdo. And then you might say, okay, maybe sometimes the things that make you brilliant in one way make you ignorant in another way. We're talking about a phalanx of people who have executed a pivot, all in synchronicity. When Joe Rogan moved, they all moved. They're all on the same path. So there's something here that it's not about being contrary. I mean, it may be oppositional, but it's not individual oppositionism. You're behaving as part of a group. I think So you need another explanation. I mean, I think part of it is to whom does anti-vax ideology most strongly appeal? And if I were to do a profile of the people I know who are strong anti-vaxxers, I would say, it doesn't appeal to the truly ignorant and the utterly uninformed, because it's too complicated. There's too much to keep up with. Actually, you have to be somewhat informed, somewhat interested to be an anti-vaxxer. In fact, anti-vaxxers often are passionate. They often know more random facts than other people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
they've all done their own research.
They've all done their own research. But I think what they feel is they feel underappreciated relative to the people who are most appreciated. That is, what irks them is that as much as they know, as clever as they are not regarded as respectfully as somebody else. And it's a kind of comparative injury.